Hello. Thank you so much for coming to this presentation. We are very happy to see so many people here. Okay, so Ivan, he's
David Pinilla.
We are both from EXO, which is an association related to Gifinet. And well, we will give an overview of what Giphy is, its relationship to free software, just an overview. Okay. So, this presentation is mainly based on this document, which is What is Gifinet? It's an introduction to Gifinet, wrote by Roger Puello. You can very easily find it on the main Gifinet page. So, he's to be acknowledged for that. Okay. So there are many misunderstandings on what Giphy is, so I will start by telling what Gifinet is not. So Gifinet is not an internet provider. It's not an ISP. So, but we ease the access to the internet. We can ease this kind of access. It is not a subscription service. But there are many companies and organizations that provide this service on top of Gifinet. It is not a second-class network, some hobbyist network. It is connected to the core infrastructure of the internet. It is not just a Wi-Fi network. We are using more advanced technologies like optical fiber right now. Well, for many years we've been doing this. It is not a single corporation of any kind. It's not a public or private corporation. There are many corporations, many organizations that are part of Gifinet or participate in it. This is not something held by a single organization as well. Gifinet itself, as a network in this aspect, has many owners. Okay. So, and it is not some kind of very radical movement trying to change the world or make it burn. No, we are transformative with, let's say, political, may say in the broad sense, political movement. Okay, but we are not very radical in that sense. Okay. And we are not a geek only or hobbyist only project. There are many kinds of roles. Everyone can participate. Everyone can play their role. Okay. We are not some Wild West place at all. We have very clear rules that we will introduce to you later. Okay. And it is not actually a new idea. This is an application of the common pool resource handling to something that is new, like computer networks. This also happens with free software. So it's just a new version of something old, very old. Okay. So
I will explain a little bit of the technological project of Gifinet. Before I talk about techie stuff, let's see a little bit of context. Gifinet started in a little area in the countryside of Spain and Catalonia named Osona. There are almost no broadband internet access, so neighbors started to collaborate and self-provision their internet access. They were not geek people. They are farmers, normal people that wanted to access that public resource. As Ivan said, it's a common pool resource like some other resources like free software, and has some fundamental conditions that it's free, so anyone can do anything, like hosting ASP.NET web pages. You are free to do anything. It's open to anyone, and so you can join and study the network, see how it works, and improve it. And it's neutral, so there is no discrimination on the content or who you are to access the network. It started from using commodity Wi-Fi hardware like the Linksys WRT. In 2008, it became an autonomous system and joined the CATNIX Internet Exchange in Barcelona, where we exchange traffic with other ISPs and connect to some top-level providers. In 2010, there were more than 10,000 nodes, and we started to deploy optical links. And nowadays, there are more than
33, 34
thousand nodes and almost 50,000 project. During the questions, we will show you a little video of the growth of the network. Here you can see a map of the nodes that are actually on the network. About the infrastructure that we run on, we have a Drupal website where anyone can register and post their node configuration. We use OpenLDAP for authentication both on the website and the network resources like internet proxies. We use some tools like SmokePing, WeatherMap, or GestioIP for managing resources related to the network operations center in the CATNIX. And for config management of the network protocols, we use BIRT, Quagga, and BMX6. It's a mesh routing algorithm. And we do both use SNMP as protocol, both by Cacti and some Drupal modules that we have developed to publish the usage information. Almost all routers on Gifinet runs on GNU Linux firmwares, although there are a lot of closed source systems that we are trying to change, but it's what users use mainly from Microtik and that platforms. And we have some supporting services for the users to collaborate, like Simpa for the mailing lists, Rocket Chat that is widely used to communicate among users, and Etherpad and MediaDrop for video publication. There are a lot of self-developed and projects that started with the needs of Gifinet. As I said before, there are some primordial Drupal modules that let users create domain names and associate to resources. This information is replicated for all the DNS servers of the network, so that are geographically distributed among the different geographical areas. Also, there are a package that is named an SNP service that does all the SNP collecting and service as RD tool images to the web page. Also, we have developed a mesh routing firmware that is used a lot in the network and it started like 2009 and it's actively developed right now. And we also have some tools for managing the proxy access. That is the principal way of accessing internet in the beginning of the project. Also, Gifinet has collaborated in several European projects that involves research. For example, Confined project that lets developers try application and services, and we bet that that is a framework for testing on commodity Wi-Fi hardware. Also, some projects like RP modules and a distro for installing services. Now, Ivan will continue with the social project.
Well, thanks. Before, well, Adrien already introduced many of the tools and the concepts. Thank you very much. I cannot check where he is now. Okay. We have a big issue with the projects we develop, and it's its dissemination. Many people in the network doesn't even exist. Don't even know that it exists. That they exist. And the long-term funding and maintenance. For instance, we had these European projects, but now they are done. It's a little bit difficult to pay someone to actively develop such complex tools. So any idea or suggestion on this will be very, very welcome. So regarding the social project, very similar to what Adriano already mentioned. We consider the access to telecommunications and the internet to be a human right. So we work towards that. We want to facilitate access to telecommunications and the internet, an access that is affordable, so it doesn't discriminate on how rich people or poor people. It's for everyone. We put special importance on the fact that some people typically left behind can access the internet, like people in the rural areas where it all began. And well, we call GIFINET a community network because we feel a community. We know each other, or at least locally in the different areas. No? And we are a pretty diverse community. Of course, we would like to be more diverse, but I think it's okay right now. There are volunteers that participate in its expansion. We have all kinds of associations like EXO that I introduced you before. Giphy badges, yeah, pretty big associations. We have companies that work on top of GIFINET and provide their services on their maintenance or installation of nodes and infrastructure. We have, of course, the users. We consider users to be also part of the community, and we share their interests. And we have the public administrations that help the network deploy by giving us access to some key places, key locations, or is in the legislation as well. We have these very clear rules that I mentioned you before. We have this free open free open neutral network commons, which should like the GPL license of GIFINET. Yeah, everyone that participates in the network, in the physical network itself, must accept it explicitly by signing it. Okay, and this is the base for everything else in the network, like some of these governance tools, like a conflict resolution system that we apply when there are not so agreeable situations, but there are, and it has proved to work pretty well. And there is the foundation. Okay, the foundation is like a legal personality for the network whenever it is needed, but it is not the owner of GIFINET. It is not GIFINET itself. It's a tool for GIFINET, and someone to guard for the network to develop according to the rules that I mentioned before. Okay. Legally, it's a private, not-for-profit foundation. It has many other roles that you can see here, and it is a telecommunications operator in Spain. It is registered as so, as such, and it can provide access to other ISPs that want to share this connection in the CAT-NICs, in the neural exchange point in Barcelona that David mentioned before. Okay, and as a common resource pool, okay, this is a concept that was described by Elinor Ostrom, is Nobel Prize winner. She introduced this concept, and this has existed for millennia for people running resources that that must be shared between several people, like the Earth, well, like fields or things like that. It's a very, very old concept. Well, and when using such a resource concurrently, one must make an economic administration of it, no? By the fact that everyone uses the same resource pool and develops it together, we can manage to make a more efficient use of it, and to avoid some kind of duplicity that other ISPs and telcos produce just because everyone has to have their line and pay for it, and we think it's very inefficient. No? We do not have that. All participants cooperate in the development, and service providers can offer their services at a price, or there are associations that offer them as for members. That many kinds of models running on top of it. Well, these are some of the professional services offered in the network. You will see internet access in the bottom, because Gifinet is like a big local network, but it is not. It does not provide access to the internet by default. So one of the many ways to access the internet, besides web proxies and things like that, are these ISPs that operate on top of Gifinet, which are pretty competitive and much cheaper than other ISPs in Spain, by grace of using this share common pool resource. Okay, so to avoid another topic or to handle another topic in common pool resource handling, which is the tragedy of the commons, that someone uses the resource but doesn't provide anything to make it grow. We have this compensation system that applies to the, let's say, big players in the network, like big ISPs, big associations, volunteers that put a lot of effort. So we run this system that where you can compensate collectively the resources that you put and the benefit that you get from the network. Okay. So to summarize, we have proved in these years that this kind of model can work. We have this sophisticated compensation system that has been awarded by the European Union in 2015, I think.
Or 16, I don't remember.
16, there was another network, a Scottish network, I think, which it was a community network that's also got a similar prize. So, yeah, we have the recognition of the European Union. I think we can. It has proved sufficiently that this can be a model for future access to for providing access to the internet to everyone in an affordable and
more efficient on the resources.
Yeah, in an efficient and socially good way. So thank you very much for listening. If I have any questions. I will play this video in the background while you
ask questions.
Ask questions, yeah.
If you have any question.
6 minutes for question. Don't forget to repeat the question.
Okay.
Let's put it by first times. Faster.
I got 2 questions which are linked. The first one would be, how do ISPs provide internet access over this? Is it tunnels or?
It usually it's by.
So the first question is, how do we provide internet access with tunnels or whatever?
For example, I can explain the EXO use case. We use IP tunnels, but there are ISPs that use IPv6 mainly and do NAT operator for the IPv4, for example. There are many techniques use it. It depends on the operator itself.
I guess the second question I have kind of relates to that, which is how do you do the underlay routing? So how do you do the routing within your system?
Can you repeat?
Yeah. Can you repeat?
So like within your system, how do you handle the routing between the different
Well, yeah. You ask about the routing and yeah. You are asking that how we manage the routing in all the network. Well, we use mainly BGP and OSPF, and well, there are some partitions on the network. They start as islands, and the users decide which protocol use, and then when they join the network, there are some problems that we must solve using filters or any technique.
How did the political situation in Barcelona and Catalonia in general influence the development of GIFINET in the last couple of years?
So the question is, how did the political situation in Barcelona or Catalonia influence the...
You need
how it influenced the growth of GIFINET?
introduce a bit what changed.
We changed something. Huh? Okay. So I wouldn't be sure to say, but this QMP project was born in some way to support the very quick deployment of a mesh network. It's QMP is quick mesh project. So I don't know if you can consider this to be supporting some kind of political movement.
The city of Barcelona became kind of the turf of the social movements. So maybe you have more support now from the city than you had before. Did it change anything?
So regarding what he said about the political movement in Barcelona, that changed. Was very alive the last years. We got support from them, but don't know. It's we are very informal ways of getting support. I wouldn't be able to answer. Sorry, I don't know.
It seems that there is some interest, as we can see in the social meetings, that the mayor is interested. Well, the Ajuntament.
Yeah, the mayor house.
The mayor house is interested, and
Yeah, we got
it
support.
seems that interest has grown.
But code of conduct for end users, how do you make them sign them? Is it only for the endpoint users or for end devices users? Like the family of three, everyone has to sign it?
So regarding how does people sign this agreement, the commons,
Yeah.
and how do we do it, or how it's done?
They have to register on the website so they can place the node of the network and configure it. And for registering, you have to accept the contract. So
It's per node.
eh?
It's one per node, one register.
One per user, and with a user, you need a user to create a node. So well, we assume that they read it and use it, as all the services do. But when introducing the concept of or the network, we told by saying it also.
I understand EXO is an ISP that works over the Wi-Fi network.
Yeah.
And if you want to connect to the internet, you, as a node on Wi-Fi, need to go through all the other nodes before you get to the cabinets, right?
So the question is if EXO is an ISP, and how do we get?
Yeah, that's the first part of the question. And can you connect directly to EXO on the CatNix, or do you have to go through the other nodes?
And if we need to connect directly to the EXO in the CatNix, or we must go over other nodes. The infrastructure of GIFINET is the free part, and EXO is available through GIFINET. No? So we, in particular, we have a machine at the CatNix hosted with other machines of GIFINET of the foundation, and through GIFINET we reach these servers, and then we establish tunnels. I don't know the exact technology, but
Yeah.
it's done like this, and I think it's done like this for other ISPs. You reach their servers, and
Kind of a node can connect directly to your machine in the CatNix if it's close enough.
directly.
There are some optical fiber links from the CatNix, and there are some equipment connected directly by these optical fiber links.
Wi-Fi antenna.
and
Directly.
I'm an example. He's asking that if you can connect directly to the catnix. Yes, you can, but yeah. It's time's up, but
He's he's one fortunate owner of a node that connects directly to the Teldon building where
I can explain it
the
later
catnix.
if you want.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, just that.